this evening for the International Women's Day webinar special hosted by Wagon and co-hosted by Ladies Who Tech. So first up, I would like to invite our Wagon representative, Yi Yao, to introduce who Wagon is.
All right, thank you, Charlene. So yeah, so for those of you who don't know Wagon yet, so we are a coding bootcamp with a very simple mission. So we want to help as many people as possible by teach you how to code to change your life. So yeah, so we are very proud to see so many people and amazing ladies in our community, alumni who embrace a new career as well as working on something they're passionate about after the journey at Wagon. So, and today we also have two speakers, Ekaterina and Amy, who are also Wagon alumni, and they will share their story later. Yeah, so thank you, Charlene.
Thank you very much. Actually, thank you, Wagon, for inviting me to be a moderator for this webinar. Today, we are also joined by three amazing women who are in tech. One of them is my role model and also advisor to Ladies Who Tech. Two of the speakers are actually alumni from Wagon, and I'm actually very, very interested to hear from all of them. So why are we celebrating International Women's Day? I think we should be celebrating Women's Day every day. In fact, you know, we should call it International Women's Year or International Women's Month. Why we celebrate? Because I don't think there's enough visibility for women out there who have been doing great things. So today we are just talking to only three amazing people from a bunch of amazing people around the world. And I'm really happy to introduce to you Amy Ma, who is a full stack developer, Katya, who I had met at Ladies Who Tech convention. She was speaking on behalf of Wagon. And of course, last but not least, Vivian Tian. She is an advisor of Ladies Who Tech. And most importantly, she's like top-notch, top dog for eBay. So let's go on, get this started. Now, before that, there are some housekeeping rules. So we would like everybody, if you're not talking, to mute yourselves. I mean, you can show us what you're doing, like petting a dog, having dinner, or you know, doing cool stuff. That's okay. Just please mute yourself. Okay, so because it might get a little bit distracting. We will give you an opportunity at the end to post your own questions if you have any. But in the meantime, if you have a question that you don't want to forget, you can always go to the chat room and write down your questions. Gia will be monitoring those questions for us and will help to ask them later, or you can ask them yourself. All right. Oh, last but not least, please be respectful to everyone here. Okay. All right. I would like first for our three speakers to introduce themselves, but of course, I would like it to do it the more fun way, like the elevator pitch way, maybe. So I will give every one of you 30 seconds. Okay, I won't be really counting, but something like 30 seconds. Okay, to introduce yourself, your background, what you do. Okay, now we will go by alphabetical order this time. So Amy, are you ready? Go ahead, 30 seconds now.
Okay, hi everybody, I'm Amy. I'm a woman and I'm 25 years old. I'm a developer currently. I'm a developer of websites. So basically I make websites that's in your browser. And I studied math in college, and I'm also particularly interested in music. I play the piano. Yeah, that's it.
And wow, that's less than 3 seconds. So Katya,
yeah.
Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katya. I'm from Russia. I'm 28 years old. I've been living in China for the last 7 years. I did my second major here. And right now I'm working in tech. 2 years before, I was working in non-tech industries like international trade, investment, very boring. Then the Wagon helped me to transition into tech. I built a pet adoption app there. It's called Together. And then it led me to join their pet sitting startup as a co-founder. And now I'm head of tech and Spare Leash, and taking care of people's pets in China. like this one.
Thank you very much. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Is that your pet?
And this,
Can he or she say hello? There you go. Awesome. And my personal role model, Vivian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vivian. Chinese name is Tian Wei. So Amy is 25. I'm 52. So I feel so old when the first two ladies just introduce themselves. Okay. So I have been in research and development for like 29 years. And I never thought I could do anything else other than engineering or science. So it is my privilege to be here, and I have a lot of fun working at the technology world, and I couldn't wait to share those with you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, ladies. So I would like to, I know that, and as I understand from the earlier, Katya, Amy, you have both attended the Wagon boot camps before. Yeah. Katya, you did it in Shanghai, and Amy, you did it in Barcelona. So what's the most important thing that you have learned from coding bootcamp? I mean, tell us more about that, and how has it helped you to where you are today? Who wants to go first? Katya, maybe?
okay, so for me, basically, it was their easiest and quickest transition in the tech industry because I was motivated to be able to build my own products. And tech is the first thing which lets you do this. And I was actually going crazy about building a pet adoption app, and Wagon gave me this chance to do it within 2 weeks, 2 months. And then I've been working in tech since then, and it's just their easiest and fastest way to actually move into tech.
How easy or how difficult? I mean, you say 2 months? I mean, did you have to have a background before in tech, or you know what, you can just jump right into it,
no,
join the class?
No, I had literally zero background in tech. I was trying to I was working in digital agency for 6 months, and then realized it's very not interesting, pretty boring, stuff getting the same all the time. But with programming, it's never enough. It's everything is changing every day. And the Wagon let every person without any tech background learn it within 2 months. So for me it was no, if you don't want to spend 5 years at university learning CS and you want to go there quickly, that's the way, and I chose it.
That's fantastic. And you did it in Shanghai. I mean, was there any cultural language barrier? I mean, how did you how was that?
So I studied in English, because the Wagon program is all around the world in English. I know that Shanghai now has the Chinese option too, but for me, English was good enough. Even we have Chinese students too, but everybody was speaking English.
All right, cool. So, hey, Amy, and you did this. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been living in Shanghai for 5 years, before it. So for me, it was no way not to go not in Shanghai, because here is the community, and it's also helped a lot.
All right, that's very good. Amy, how about yourself? I mean, you went to Barcelona. Did you learn it in Espanol? How did that work?
Oh, I only know 2 sentences in Espanol, so there's no way I can learn it in Espanol. But it was in English. Basically, I think the Wagon Bootcamp, other than the ones in France, the other ones are in English. I pretty much agree with everything Ekaterina said. It has a great community globally, and it also is the best way to transition you from anywhere to tech, because it really tells you the most hands-on technologies, and it's very, very practical. Basically, you can just use it right away to build your own things. I built a app for my friends afterwards and stuff. But I think other than those, the most important thing it told me is how to learn by myself. Basically, I think if we can access all the information on the internet these days, by sitting in front of your laptop, you can basically get everything already. But how do you tell which information is important for you, which information is what you're looking for right now? I think that's a very important skill for developers to have, because it's a fast evolving industry. And then the Wagon told me that, oh yeah, you should think independently. You should know how to Google. You should always keep on with the news and the new technologies, because those are popular right now, will probably be outdated in a few years. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So Vivian, I understand. Well, thank you, Amy, for the insights. Vivian, I understand that you are from engineering background. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you? Well, I'm from engineering background as well. So would you like to tell me a little bit more about, you know, how you got into it? A little bit about how engineering is like. I mean, is it boring? Is it interesting?
Yeah. So actually, you know, as I just said, you know, I never thought I'm going to do anything else other than technology or science, mainly because when I was starting from very, very little, I was so passionate about math or science courses. So I'm extremely good at math, physics, and chemistry, all those science-related works. So always got the #1 ranking across the school. Yeah. So I was so passionate for continuous years. Yeah. I was so passionate about it because I really like the logic, and I really, really like the fun stuff. You know, you can learn from you know, all the from the fantastic world. You know, you can use math to resolve a lot of problems. You can use physics and chemistry to explain a lot of the things happening in the natural world. Yeah. So, you know, God is fair. I'm super good at science related, but I'm super worse at, you know, art related courses. Yeah. So there's no choice for me. I have to go this path.
Hey, but I know you're good at something else, also kind of related to mathematics. And you mentioned this before. You are a bridge champion. So can you tell us how bridge, maybe some of us don't know, bridge and mathematics, and why are you so good at it?
Oh, okay. Oh, that is my, you know, bridge actually is my favorite hobby. Actually, I love bridge more than my work. If I have a choice. Yeah, bridge is a game. It's a card game, and you use your logic to analyze and predict what is going to happening, and then play against your contract, and you win it. Yeah, so it is like more like a logical card games. So for those people who are super good at strategy, at logic, math is simple because there are only 52 cards, right? It's very simple to do the add or subtract, so it's so easy. But the logical behind is very, very interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a semi-professional bridge player, and recently I just became the national bridge game. Became a member of the national bridge game with my team. Yeah.
That's not semi-professional. That seems very professional to me. If you're still national bridge champion, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Just to go off a little bit tangent, I know Amy, you are a pianist. Where have you played?
What?
Where have you played?
Well, not like publicly, but I do go to jam sessions and play piano and stuff. But otherwise, I just, practice at home and sometimes playing empty concert halls. Practicing empty concert halls.
You got to invite us next time when you're playing. Just out of curiosity, do you have a favorite composer?
That's a very tricky question. I wouldn't say I have a favorite composer. I can only pick one composer from each era, probably. Like for the Romantic era, I would say Brahms. For like classical era, I would say Beethoven. Yeah.
Okay, you're pretty hardcore.
I'll just give you this two.
We're going to discuss this more about music later on. Back to our questions about technology and about also gender diversity, which is what this webinar is mostly about. So questions for the three of you. When you enter the technology industry, right? What was your first motivation? I know Katya would say, oh, the marketing was getting a bit boring, and so you want to do something new, and then you found a new project in pet sitting, and then you want to turn it tech. When you enter, what was it like? And then how is your perception now? Has there been a change where what you thought before, oh, technology is so cool or it's so boring, and then when you got into tech, it's been completely different? Has it been like that, or what are your views, Katya?
So for me, like I was actually always good at math when I was at school, but then like there, there's society issues, everybody thinking that like math is more for male and like stuff. So like I wasn't persuading, like I wasn't going for this idea, and I always had expectations that it's more male dominated industry. Like for example, I've been working in investment, national trade, and those are also male dominated industries, and I expected something similar from tech. Like so I was ready basically for everything. I decided at one moment, okay, if it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, like no matter what, like I'm going to do this. But when I joined tech community, it was a completely opposite experience. Like for me, it was like I was literally shocked, because like how the community welcomed me, how many how many people are ready to help you, like no matter what. People don't judge you by like if you're a girl, how old are you, what's your background, etc. Like people just like, oh, you know how to do it, oh, do it, like, and we're gonna pay you for it. Like for example, I was freelancing for some time, and because like people knew that I was able to do it, that's why they were hiring me, just because of their knowledge and skills. And I was like shocked by this fact first, then by community, like, and I know it's like extremely supportive. Like in my experience, I never had like any issues with it. So like for me, their main response is like I was in shock, like because I expect the worst and actually got the opposite experience, which is kind of awesome.
Well, that is a very good story. Can you tell us a little bit more about your startup or your tech company?
So yeah, my startup is Spare Leash. I have like, by chance, I have a female co-founder. So where she's doing non-tech stuff, I'm doing tech stuff. We're a pet sitting company. We connect people to verified pet sitters. So like if you have dog, cat, I don't know, reptile, whatever, you can just go to our platform and find a pet sitter for your animal. And then our pet sitters all verified, and they will go and take care of your pets. So, and we make sure that everyone has pet experience and verified, because we literally make face-to-face interviews with people. Like, so yeah, that's and my role in it is like just to like, when I joined, our company was completely in Excel and WeChat. So can you imagine how it works? Like you're trying to sell some services, and how you do it, like first try, you just like put in WeChat, hi, like we have pet sitters. Then it was by paper. Then they started having the Excel database. And then how my co-founder Erin was doing it for 3 years. When I got there, I was in like crazy, like how can you do it? And then my job was to transition us into tech. And now like we're a full operating company. Now we can be like happily called a tech startup.
That's good. How long has this been going on, Katya?
So Spare Leash is already like 4.5 years old. I've been there for 2 years, almost 2 years. And it's going great, actually. Like I know that many industries like were suffering during a virus outbreak. We're doing okay, because like our
everyone needs
services
a pet sitter.
home, and people were leaving or people were staying. So like it was going well for us. And like I don't know, like we right now we already like last year when we were transitioning to the platform, it was hard for us to onboard everyone because people were like, no, can I just send you in WeChat? Can I just pay you here? But now we have a platform, everybody got used to it. So like next challenge for us would be like raising in summer, but like we haven't decided about the time yet. Like right now we just want to have the organic growth and just operate on our own. So,
well, cool. I mean, I see someone here already commented that they are looking for a pet sitter. There you go.
spareleash.com.cn.
Okay. All right. We'll put it down there in a bit. Vivian, I can see your motivation has to be you're so good at bridge, you're so good at mathematics. Has there been a change in perception since before you joined the tech industry and after? And maybe also tell us more about,
Yes. I think
your role.
Yeah. So when I first entered the technical world, I was a developer. I was an engineer. So I feel the work is so easy, and just like you do in the sorry, just like
Easy.
when you were
What?
just like when you were in the university or in the school, to work on a math problem. So you got an assignment, you just do the work and you submit to your work, something like that. And but when I start to feel the challenge is when I transfer to a management role. So I was transferred to a management role after 2 years. I joined Lucent Technologies. Not really 2 years. Actually, it's about a year or so. Yeah, I transferred to a manager. So when you was an engineer, you were so focused on to make sure that you get your things done, your things done well, you get things you're done right, and you get your things done very quickly. But when you become a manager, you'll be responsible for a team, and you need to motivate and encourage your team to do the same level of performance as yourself. That is really, really challenging. Especially for the engineering and technology, it's hard to use just KPI to measure how effective or how productive the team is. So I feel like, when I start to do the management, I feel like this is even more challenging and more fun and more interesting because, sorry, I have to say engineering is so easy. I need to find something challenge, to make my life more fun. So, it took me quite some time and to figure out what will be the best approach that you can motivate the team and help them to be a better themselves. So that is the most fun part of my job right now. So I started the management role from year 1999, and it's about 28 years, 20 years, as a leader, as a manager. We'll start to see how you change the culture of the team, how you can improve the efficiency of the team, how you can lead the team to do a lot of innovations. The achievement and the pride is there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vivian. Engineering is easy. That should be a new hashtag going on out there. So we should all start that. Well, Amy, how about you? Has going into tech changed any of your perception or?
Yes, in a way. I think I'm still on the way of trying to feel that engineering is easy. Okay, right now it's not it's not easy for me. But before I entered, I just feel like, oh, I should just be good at tech and be good at coding and I'll be good. But then I realized it's not just about that. It's also about like communicating with other people. Like, how do you write readable code for others to read? How do you communicate with designers, understand their perspective? How do you communicate with project managers and also customers? It's a lot more about, like, it's not just about coding, but it's a lot more about communication stuff as well. Yeah.
All right, so it's not like pure hardcore, just coding, just numbers, right? I think a lot of times that when we are in tech, in STEM, we have to kind of dabble in everything, basically an all-rounder. Can we pretty much say that? Yeah, just like you are good in piano, you're good in math, you know, you have to balance life. And just like in everything in life, you have to have a balance. How would a day in office or in a company look like for you, Amy? Like, oh, you wake up, you jump straight to work, or?
Back in the days when I was still working in a company, it's basically like we go to work and then we do a daily stand-up where like everybody just tells everybody else what we're gonna do today, and then we just go back to our desk and start out our day. Basically, I have like a plan for an entire week, and each day I just have to like schedule like things I need to do. I probably will just like do 1 or 2 issues per day, and after like I finish the issue, I'll like ask a senior developer to review my code, and then if they're all good, they will merge the request, and then we'll push this on server. Well, it's like a lot of like process, and then like we send this to the client, and then if the client approve, we'll push this on like the production website, and then it's done. That's basically my day. And then I go home, and the next day I come back, I fix the bug I created myself the last day. So yeah, it's basically like that.
Okay, and Vivian, I mean, I have been in corporate in the manufacturing engineering place before for also about 20 years plus. So I know how it is. Like, you know, we go to work, we actually clock in, and then we go to work and we check all the emails, and then we decide which one we need to handle first, and then we go do some heated discussions, and then we have meetings, and then at the end we finally sit down and actually go to work. How is your day in the office like?
Okay, yeah, so I'm currently working in the R&D center of eBay, so in Shanghai. So we are one of the biggest remote R&D center of eBay globally. So we are doing a lot of the core technologies and platforms and deep engineering for eBay on cloud, big data, artificial intelligence, search, payment, almost all the domains and areas. So typically my day starts from because we work with the people in Bay Area, and we have about 3-4 hours overlap. So I start very early, like 6-7 in the morning. For my early morning meetings with my partners in the US. And then, I spend about an hour or so to deal with the emails. And starting from 9 or 10 o'clock, I have a lot of meetings with my team here in China, and, pass on the information, pass on some changes on the directions or objectives, or handle the issues, problems. Then I will collect all the feedback and some of the challenges we have, and then, write emails to my partners in the US, and, always go to like 10 or 11 in the evening, sometimes when they wake up, until it got resolved. Then, next day is another day. Yeah.
And then you have time to play bridge in between.
On the weekend or on holiday. All my PTOs are on bridge games. Yeah.
Okay, I have to attend one of those competitions and actually learn first of all, I have to learn what bridge is first and how to play.
Oh, sure. If you're interested, I can teach you. Absolutely.
Okay. Stress. Katya, what does a day in the office look like for you? I'm sure it's pretty fun. I mean, it's, I'm sure you love pets. That's how you started.
Yeah, for sure. Like that was actually one of their goals for me to go to tech. So I'm able to take pets to my office, because like usually tech companies are always pet friendly. Oh, and including us, of course. So like I cannot say that like I go to the office every day. Like I work from home sometimes. Tomorrow I'm leaving to Thailand for 3 weeks. So like I will be still working there, but I will be just working from the beach instead of home. So like So like when I'm saying it, I'm very happy about it, you know.
Working at the beach, that's your office for the next 2 weeks?
For
Are you going to
next
take someone
3 weeks.
with you?
No, like I'm actually very happy about it. It just like I don't know, like it's great that like I can do it now. It's really awesome and it's very chill. Like I actually like going to the office because I like to talk to work with my team together, because like we have a lot of fun, we go to lunch together, so like it's very cool. And as Emmy said, we also have like stand-ups and our deadlines and everything, but like none of us actually care if you're in the office or you're not unless the job is done, because like we're a small team, so like for us like everyone is supposed to be very efficient. So that's the main thing for us basically. But
Okay,
like, it's very chill.
that's kind of like a tech and manufacturing, you know. With me, I've always been 8:30 to 5:30. But anyway, that's very good. Thank you for sharing with us. Now I kind of want to move a little bit to something that's for some people might be a little bit sensitive. But then this is International Women's Month. I like to call it International Women's Month, not only day. And I want to talk about gender diversity. So have you ladies ever experienced gender inequality or along those lines, or maybe a little bit discrimination or biasness towards you when you are in your professional arena or even as on a personal level? Amy, would you like to start first?
Of course. I think actually my first like gender inequality issue I encountered was the first interview I got when I was just coming into this industry. Like during the interview, the tech lead asked me, why do you choose this? Why do you choose to be a developer as a woman? Are you seeking out for some other roles? Like, are you looking to transition into some other things like later? Because I don't see a lot of women in this. It seems to be unstable. And I immediately feel like, I don't know how to respond. I feel the need to argue with him, to be honest, but I also know that this might also hurt my chance of getting this job. So I just kept silent and didn't say anything about it. And another thing I encountered was like last year I went to a tech conference and the majority of participants were male, like maybe like 90%. And while I was having lunch with my coworker during the lunch break, like a friend of his came to our table and asked him if I were his wife. And I'm like, so as a woman, can I just be another participant here? Like, do I like only be seen as someone who is like, as someone's wife, like a participant's wife, and not even like a proper participant in this tech conference? And yeah, that's both basically like those issues that I encountered. And I feel like as a junior, as someone who just got into this industry, I feel like I'm almost feeling like a little bit helpless because I don't know what to do. I don't know if it's because I'm not good enough, if it's because I'm a junior, or if is it because I'm a woman. Sometimes it just leaves me helpless and I don't know what to do. Yeah.
I actually understand what you're saying, because before I embarked into my journey to electrical engineering, when I was a kid, I really found it was so much fun playing with boys' toys, like, you know, building cars and playing with Legos. And it's always so fun. And I don't know why they make me play dolls. I still don't understand that. But anyway, so I said I wanted to be an engineer because I was so fascinated by the radio. And then I told my mom about it. She was okay. She was like, okay, you know, get a scholarship, go, you know, don't use too much of my money. But some of the men in my family said, why do you want to do that for? You're a girl. I mean, girls don't study engineering. Only boys, it's for boys. It's too tough for you. I'm like, what? But I kind of know, and I was kind of helpless, but in the sense that kind of it made me so angry that I decided that I'm going to get an engineering degree no matter how hard it is, and however long it's going to take me. So I totally get it from your end. But just to put it out there for everyone, right? These are some of the things that women do experience. It might seem trivial to many people, but this is women do need in general more encouragement, more support, so to speak. Okay, maybe I could also ask the same question about to Katya. Have you ever encountered gender inequality or biasness because you're a woman, or because you're a woman in tech?
So like as I mentioned earlier, like when I was working in investment company, like that was a lot, because people were like, oh, you're a 25-year-old girl, like, so you must be a sales manager or something. Like it was like, and like people didn't take me seriously at all. And but when I actually moved to tech, like the situation changed, like for me. Like I never actually accept to be treated by gender. I don't know, like I think it's like like I know that it's many issue for women, like I don't want to judge anyone. Like I've experienced it myself, but you either accept it or you don't. And I always refuse to accept it that like I'm being treated due to my gender. So like before, but in tech actually it never happened to me. It was the like no one cares where like you male, female, I don't know, like whoever. Like it's always like for me it was like very normal, you know. It no matter I talk to a guy, I talk to a girl, everybody is working together, and the teamwork is much more appreciated in team. So like maybe that's why, because like many things in tech you're not able just to build by yourself, so you have to force yourself to work as a team, and whether your teammates are male or female, no one cares. So like for me, like I don't think that in tech people are treated by gender, and I don't think it's like it's more like a personal fear. If girls think that like, oh, I'm not hired because I'm a girl, no, it's because you're not good enough. Like I'm sorry to say it, but like this is in my opinion, because like if I have the choice between like uh, a girl who knows like who has like this amount of knowledge and confident and like and reliable, or the guy who is like has more knowledge and confident and reliable, I would go and hire a guy. But in the opposite situation, if the girl has more knowledge, I would go with the girl. Like it's no difference. And people normally are treated by what they can do. Like I this month I actually hired to Spare Leash 2 girls interns, and it's been going great. But I hired them not because they were girls, because they actually passed their interview and they did a great job. So like and I'm extremely happy, but it's not because of their gender. It's just like I talked to both guys and girls, they were just better. So like I think like you have just to be confident, and don't put your like if you're not chosen to be hired somewhere, like for women sometimes it's very easy to say, oh, I'm not hired because I'm a girl. I'm sorry, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you have to first think and analyze, okay, do I have this and these skills? Like, do I have enough experience? Actually, am I suitable for this role? If this all passed and really like the person who is hiring is just a douche, this is one thing. But like, have you matched all the other things before? So like, no, it's a bit harsh. Like it's not everywhere, but like it's happening a lot, because a lot of people abusing actually this diversity thing. Like it's not quotes like as a joke, but like people have been abusing it a lot recently. And I don't think that it's also okay to use it in this case. Like for example, I'm from Russia, and there actually women never had to fight for their rights because of the Communist Party. Like everybody just got their rights and everybody was like able to do it. So women today, they're like lots of them, like a ton of my friends are married and have children, and they're like oh wow, I'm a girl, I don't have to work. So it's like the opposite thing. And this is very normal, I would say, in Russia, like that I'm working and live alone. I'm 28, not married. I'm like, oh my God, you're not married? What? Like, so this is like two extremes which have to be handled like by people, and like you have to just like find like somewhere in the middle, like where you stand for. But first you need to get better by yourself, so no one can actually tell you no, not to be accepted for this job. Like if you are great, you would get there, like no matter what.
Yeah, I think there is always two sides to a coin, right? So we talk a lot about gender diversity in general, and then some people will say, oh, you know, with gender diversity, you actually have the reverse discrimination, right? You're just being hired because we have to have this many women in this company. And then at the same time, like when you don't hire women, then you're like, yeah, you're not hiring enough women. So we got to have a balance, I think. And you're right about people taking advantage sometimes in a different or perceived wrong, maybe not so appropriate perception direction. We got to be more, we got to see it in a broader picture. We got to see it in a more objective picture, that we just don't do it just because we have to do it, or we have to be very clear in our mind that whatever we're doing, in this case hiring practices, we are hiring for the right person for the job. So I want to go back to the same question for Vivian. Now, Vivian, you have been in this tech industry for many number of years. And when you were a younger engineer and to a more mature and also someone who's in management position, how has that worked out for you? Whether it's people talking about discrimination, people talking about gender diversity now, which is buzzword in this decade, in this century.
Yeah. So fortunately or unfortunately, I never met any discrimination or any problem with gender equity. So even when I worked in China national companies, and I also worked in China state-owned companies, and I worked in multinational companies, all different kind of companies, like 7, 8 companies already, and none of them have this equity issue. Yeah, so I don't even from like 30 years ago. Yeah, so I think actually me as a woman in an internet company and in eBay, I got a lot of reversed bias discrimination. Yeah, so I got a lot of because all my peers are male. Actually, most of the time they particularly ask my opinions or my feedback or my perspective before they make a decision. Yeah, because I was the only women leader, in the group. Yeah. So but when I developed my team, I have some rules. So basically, when I interviewed, especially for a senior position or a leader position, we not particularly look for women candidates, but the rule we made there is that until we find a women candidate in the short list before we make the decision. And also, for some of the internal opportunities, we always, open and encourage a lot of female hypos to pursue that opportunity. Moreover, I got a lot of pressure from the corporate that we need to do pay equity and reward equity for our women engineers. We have a lot of big data and statistics to show how the women in my team, got paid or got rewarded compared with their male peers. So, but usually I don't do it because you're just women. I was trying to do it, to make sure that we not only want to be treated equally, because we're women, but we really want to be treated, you know, as we are a strong engineer and a strong contributor to the team. So basically, I developed a lot of different kind of women leadership program to help them to grow and to be able to take more responsibility, to take more responsibilities, or to have more career futures in the organization, rather than just you know, go with the pay equity, but really put the effort and the energy to help them to grow.
That is really good to hear. I mean, from all you ladies, that somehow in the tech industry, we are very gender diverse. I mean, there are things that we need to work on, as in everything, as in every industry, as in every part of community and society, and even in corporation, right? So going back to staying on this point, actually, there are many studies, yeah, and there are numbers actually saying that, for example, this Entrepreneurs Network in 2017, they did a study, and they say 86% male entrepreneurs are 86% more likely to be VC funded, and 56% more likely to secure angel investment. And I mean, data has shown that there are very few women-led startups receiving funding. So this question is actually more for Amy and Katya, but Vivian, feel free to jump in as well. Why do you think that is? How do you think this can be remedied? Is it a problem? Katya, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so first of all, it's because there are, if we're talking about the proportion, there are less companies who are led by women on the first place. So it's hard to invest in it's hard to raise the percentage of what's not exist much. But actually, so this is could be one of the reasons. Second one is because 90% of venture of VCs are men. This is according to lots of research, many people have the opinion because men are leading VC industry. That's why women are not receiving funding. Also, it could be because women are more tend to exit quicker. For women, it goes 6 years, though for men, it's actually in general is around 8 years or 7.5. So 6 is not much less, but still less. So women tend to exit earlier than men, according to their research and Guardian, which I read. Though I have actually great news. I've been reading about it today. In 2019, their number of women receiving women-led companies never received as much funding as in 2019. So we can all be we can all be really happy about it, because so it's literally getting better every year. It's so in fact in comparison to last year, it's it was an increase of 56%. So it's still 17% of total, 17 to 20% of total number of VC which are funded, but in general it increased by 56%. So it's double the number, almost. Not double, but it's much higher now. So I think it's great, and the tendency is going up. So I think we have to be very positive about it, but it's not going to change anytime soon. The only way So I think the main reason is that women have to more women just need to maybe I don't say work harder, but I guess more women gonna grow startups, more trust that will gain in VC. capitalists. So, but like now also a lot of VC which are led by women, like are grown up. So like, for example, Goldman Sachs, they have committed like half billion USD last year just to invest into their women-led startups. And many companies also actually going towards this way. So this is where the diversity plays for benefit of women. And it's like I think we just have to go and grab it basically. But like it's just gonna organically increase every year, I think. I hope so.
Well, I certainly hope so for that. Amy, do you have any comments on that?
I think it's great news that we're seeing situation improving each year. It's really great to see that. And I think the reason why the statistics is like 3 years ago, is it 3 years ago? Oh yeah, 3 years ago. I'm still in 2019, sorry. The statistics 3 years ago seem to be like it's a male dominant industry. I think it's because like probably there are just like more male founders than female founders in general, because like in the past, like when this generation grew up, probably a bunch of women are not encouraged to do so. So like there are probably just, this is like, we have more male founders. So of course, like more male founders get the investment, and there's probably some biased opinion against women. Like I cannot say for like everybody, but I think like in order to improve that, maybe we can just not disclose the founder's gender. Is that a solution?
Well,
I have no idea.
I mean, I would recommend a solution. This is for hiring practices, right? That I always advocate for. Like, if you send in your resume to a company, can you remove the name, the gender, the age? Yeah, date of birth equals to age, and just see someone for their credentials and their experience. Yeah,
exactly.
this is for,
like regardless
yeah,
of their gender.
Yeah, regardless of gender and age and where they're from. So something that we can all try to think about along those lines. Yeah. Oh, please continue, Amy. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, Vivian, do you have any insights or comments on women-led startups being less funded or given less attention to?
Sorry, I happen to be in that area for you know, no experience over there. But from my observation, it's like I agree with most of this just said. You know, sometimes the perspective for women is that the easy got X'd, and also most of the time, women is for women who want to take risk, it's a very different style when men want to take a risk. So when women trying to take risk, they always have, most of them, they have a backup plan. So that is what I heard from a lot of investors saying that, you know, for women, as they always have a backup plan, their effort, I mean, an effort not necessarily mean the, you know, the physical effort they put there, but their mental, you know, effort or their mental, you know, energy over there is, you know, perceived to be not as devoted as male. Yeah, this is just the second-hand information. It's not really my own experience.
Oh, well, that's all right. I mean, we always like to hear what everybody else says. Back to Yiyao, I think you have some questions from the floor.
Yeah, I saw someone is asking questions regarding how long it take to transact into tech after the bootcamp. So maybe some of the maybe Ekaterina might be able to answer this question.
So in my experience, it was their day one after after I finished the bootcamp, because I got hired actually in by like a corporate IT company before I joined the bootcamp. It's just because I told them that I'm gonna learn it, and it was enough time to like to do my visa during the bootcamp. So my transition was like extremely quick. But then I didn't want to work in the corporate, so I left and started like their first day started freelancing, and like projects were just like coming on. Like there were like so many jobs in tech, so it's like a bit crazy, I would say. I never had like usually the job hunt is supposed to take some time, you know, like you have to learn the industry, like maybe talk to headhunters, like you know, like in everywhere. In tech it was like immediate, I don't know, like it's just like you just go and there are jobs, and you just work, and more you work, more jobs you get, like like according to my experience. But also you have to expose yourself there. For example, if you want to get a job after it, then you need to learn about the companies up front, like talk to them. It's like common job hunting. If you want to be a freelancer, you have to work on your portfolio and basically have some sales skills, like so which is so you would be able to actually uh and of course learn nonstop, like to actually be good, uh, so people gonna hire you. But the job's like an enormous like quantity, like I don't know, I've never seen such a huge such a huge a lot, like lots of opportunities in general. And it was like from day one up to the camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katya.
Amy, do you have
Oh,
anything to add to that?
actually, one more thing I would like to add. One of the reasons why it was also easy for me to go in, because during the camp I mentioned before, the pet adoption app. It's a mini program, like it's working for 2 years already.
That's your that's your final project, right? In the camp.
Yeah, it was my final project in the camp. And like I was keep moving it forward. We actually right now in half an hour we have an online adoption event. Yeah, so because I built this app, I was able to present something to people in order to hire me after. So like it's like you don't have to think that like if you do the program, like how are gonna persuade person. But like I had this project, I was like, oh, I can do it. And they're like, oh, that's awesome, like come work with me. So it was like kind of like pretty simple, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's it.
Katya. Amy, do you have anything
Amy?
to add to this?
I think I pretty much agree with what Ekaterina said. Like it's pretty fast, like because you end up with a project of your own and a pretty decent GitHub portfolio after the bootcamp. So it only took me like just after Chinese New Year. Like I ended the bootcamp like at Christmas, and after Chinese New Year, I just got my first job in the industry. So it's pretty fast. It's all about like how to, but you have to keep coding every day because there's a lot of things to learn after the bootcamp as well.
Yeah, I also have something to add, not by my own experience, but by experience from a volunteer of Ladies Who Tech. She also went to the Wagon Bootcamp, and then right after that, she has started, I don't know if I should say this, but developing something for Ladies Who Tech, a mini program. So it's depending on what path you choose to answer this question, there is something right ahead of you if you're already developing something. If you have an idea in mind already and you want to go straight into it, I think the bootcamp is a very good platform. But like Katya mentioned earlier, if you have something, if you want to go into a corporation or looking for a job in a tech field, then there's got some work that has to be done, like creating a profile, doing more work, keep upgrading the resumes and stuff. Yeah, hope we answered that question for you. So I want to go back to Vivian. So we were talking about numbers just now, right? How many, the percentage of women-led startups being funded. But now I want to talk a little bit about more corporations. There is also another study that says that only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. You obviously you are in a very high position for eBay. Would you like to comment on that? What tell us more about it, and why is that? And do you have, through your own experience, are you part of that, or are you, how does that, how is it? Please, can you tell us more?
Actually, eBay has been very focused on, the leadership, women equity. So basically in eBay, for all the VP above, we have like about, 25 to 30% as women leaders. So the reason especially for recent years, people are so care about the ratio of women executives and or women leaders in corporate. The study shows that, the more ratio you have for women leaders in the corporate, the more profitable the company is. And the working environment, and the culture, and the profitability of the company will be much stronger than the company who has less women executives. Yeah. So that is why a lot of the companies, especially for high tech and especially for companies in the Bay Area, they are paying much more attention, to get more women leaders and the women executives in the corporate. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit of, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you go ahead. Yeah.
Do you have, could you tell us a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think, say for me, work itself never be a challenge. The biggest challenge for me is family. It's as a Chinese, I am the very few women or the very few leader who grow from China and who never studied abroad or who never have any experience outside of China. So I was more like grow from China, and I've been working in China, but for multinational companies. So the culture in China is like a lot of the people, they expect the Chinese women, they need to go work and, have a good, career. And they also need to be a good wife, take care of all the things at home. And they need to be a good mother to take care everything of the kids. So there's so many expectations on you. And I don't believe when people talk with me about, Vivian, how could you do work-life balance? I said, no, there's absolutely no work-life balance if you really, really want to put all your energy at work. So I have to say, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good mother, but I'm trying to adjust to it. Yeah. So once there's so many challenges at family, especially for kids. So my daughter is a teenager, and I think I have to thank for if there's one good thing the coronavirus brought to me is I spend so much time with my daughter in my whole life in the past month. Yeah. So we're trying to figure out a way how to, to really care about her and help her, to support her, and at the same time to be successful at work. I'm still learning. There is so much challenges. Yeah.
Well, they say, right, life is always about learning. It's always work in progress. We all strive to be perfect, and then every day we find that we will learn something new. Well, thank you for that, Vivian. I want to ask, so this question is about some differences, right, between what you see here where we live and also abroad. I know, Vivian, you said that you don't have overseas work experience or study experience, but surely as a position, woman of position, high position, you have gone overseas and seen how working life is there, and also in communities and in societies. Is there a difference here and over there about gender issues or gender topic?
I think actually in China, I can see that because especially when the People's Republic of China got founded, Chairman Mao said, you know, women can hold up half of the heaven, right? So basically, you know, I can see that the liberty from women from China is much more advanced. And we have much more women professionals in China. And there's a statistic to show that the women employment ratio of China is the highest among the world. Yeah, actually, you know, when I work in China, I never see it as a problem. So from my perspective is that when there is a day, nobody is talking about gender equity. We really achieved the gender equity. Yeah, when you talk about it, there's a problem there and we need to work on. Yeah. So in the US, I can see they talk much more about gender equity. They're more, how to say, from a 政治正确, how do you call 政治正确? Politics,
politically correct.
Yeah, politically correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really, really care about, they always talk about it and they have a lot of rules and policies and how you can make women more successful in the career. But if you look at into how they support the women, how to make the women more successful, there's not a lot of these kind of things. They talk a lot, they have some policies, but they don't do a lot to really support and help women to grow. But in China, we're very different. Yeah, not a lot of talks, but you know, when we see hypo of women and we set up a lot of facilities or, you know, put a lot of, you know, programs, you know, to really help women to get there. Yeah, that is a big difference I see from the, you know, the Bay Area and the China.
Thank you, Vivian. How about you, Amy? You were in Barcelona, right? Yeah, you were in Barcelona. Yeah. And
I think it was, I think in general, like in school environment, like everybody's encouraged to do things they like. So I'm like, yeah, in Barcelona, I'm encouraged. Like when I went to college, I went to all women's college. So everybody's also very like encouraged to do things. And so in general, I think the school environment is quite friendly, but it's when in the like, actually in the real world, that's when it's kind of different. Like I said, like at the interview at the interview that I went to and I got asked that kind of question, I think probably in the US, like it wouldn't be politically correct to ask that question to a woman. So I don't have to deal with that question if I were somewhere else, I would say. So I don't know, because I've never like actually worked abroad before, but I'd say that we probably need to raise a little bit more awareness, like in general in China, so that, you know, in order to change something, like we have to first like make everybody realize that there such thing exists. And so yeah, FYI, I got that job. So
all right, Katya.
Yeah,
for you are from Russia and you now live in China. I'm sure you've gone abroad, you go to Thailand.
Yeah, but like in general, like about Russia, I cannot say much, to be honest, because like since like 21 years old, I've been living in China, in Shanghai. So like all my adulthood, like regarding jobs, has been in Shanghai, mostly not in Russia. Though, like if we're talking in general, like among like my friends' experience, so Russia is in general is a like country full of sexism. This is very common. Though, in the same side, like I have lots of friends like who work as engineers, software developers in digital, like whatsoever. And I like, so in general, you kind of know that it exists, but I've never heard of from any of my friends like any issues. about the diversity in Russia. Though the problem which we do have is their paychecks. Like women in Russia who like according to the research, it's a huge gap between how much women make and how much men make. Like in general, maybe it's just because the women I agreed to get less. I don't know.
Well, I think in general, to be fair, and coming from also being corporate background, we were never told to, well, we were told not to discuss pay within the company, right? I mean, pay is only about you and your boss or you and HR. So I think many times we don't question, and therefore we don't find out what our peers, if I'm doing the same job as the person next to me, whether he or she, if it's he or she, I wouldn't know what they're getting paid, or they wouldn't know what I'm getting paid, and therefore there's no discussion. Of course, the prerogative, it is the prerogative of the company to pay you what they feel that you're worth. So that for me is where most of the pay gap arises. But I think if a company, if corporations take it in their initiative, and if governments have policies that say you should not discriminate pay or based on gender, that would be a big push to closing the pay gap. I think there was a question asked about that, if I'm not wrong. But going back to this current question about gender diversity, right? I'm sorry. What do you think? Do you think we are doing better, going backwards, the same? Vivian, Amy, Katya?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Are we progressing in terms of gender diversity in tech, you feel? Are we going backwards? Are we same?
According to all the studies which I've been reading, yeah, it's progressing, though still kind of not enough to make it equal. And it's not just because women are not tend to go, it's just because lots of women still just choose to be with the family. So around the world, there are lots of women who just don't go neither to tech or nowhere, basically. Men in the world, there are more working men in the world in general. But if we're talking for example, Europe or the States or China, where lots of women actually go to work, I feel that it's progressing a lot, but step by step, no huge rush. Though actually my Wagon camp, we were equal amount of girls and guys. So it's kind of I think promising.
That's good. I would like to ask this next question, and it also comes from one of our participants. It says, how would you inspire women to go into tech? I mean, what have you done already, or what do you think you would do?
I think, so here is my takeaway. I think first, you need to be really, really passionate about tech before you really want to do the transition. Yeah. So tech is not something very easy, even from my perspective.
But you say engineering is easy.
No, I'm not saying, I'm saying because you got to, if you want to, I mean, whenever we go to, we were trying to do something, we want to do Excel, and we want to do extremely good on it. So anything you want to do extremely well is not an easy job. Yeah. You need to be super passionate about it. Yeah, I think that is a point number one. When you're passionate, then when you put your effort and energy there, you will feel a lot of joy rather than, frustration or painful. So that is a number one. I think interest and passionate. Yeah. Number two is trying to find what is your strengths. there's so many areas. Technology has so many areas. Find an area that can best leverage your strengths and put your energy over there. And for technology, you compete with the people who are doing the similar. Sorry, I take it back. It's not really compete. So if you want to be successful, or you want to have a good career on anything, you know, one critically important thing, you need to have some unique strengths or deeps that nobody can get there. So that will be your own branding. So when you have that branding, you will be able to be easily successful in any area or in any company or in any industry. Yeah, so that would be my advice. Yeah, find something interest and put all your energy and passionate about it and do extremely well over there.
All right, be passionate, do extremely well. Amy, would you like to add on that? And also, like, how would you encourage women to avoid giving up so easily?
I think we would, this is really hard actually. I think in general, it's like the situation is improving, which is nice. Like we're encouraging girls to get into tech. Like I think in general, we should just try to not put like anybody in a stereotype, like think that women can do certain things and men can do certain things. But actually like we do different things, not because of like our gender difference, but because we are different people. Everybody is unique, so everybody excel at different things. So in general, we should just encourage everybody, like I think like kids in school, encourage women to also like pursue career in science if they have interest, and in general to create like a supportive environment for them and not to make them feel like they're a stranger. I feel like we're lucky that we're already here, but there are a lot of people out there who are not as determined as some of us may be, who are not as strong. Sometimes people say certain things to them and they'll generate a lot of self-doubts and doubting themselves, and should I be here? Am I in the right place? So in general, I think we should just create a supportive environment for everybody to join in this tech industry.
Well, thank you. Kati, do you have anything to add to that?
Like I actually completely agree with Vivian and Emmy that like interest is like, I agree, it's number one, but it's also depend on the women. Like I think that supportive communities kind of exist if any girl actually start Googling about how like is it okay for a girl to go in tech, she would find lots of information. Then yes, it's okay, come over, welcome. And there would be like tons of resources. Though like how to encourage, like talk more, like obviously it's hard to persuade someone when someone is not interested. Like I don't think, like I know that like for some companies, I actually read it about eBay thing specifically, that they were encouraging more women to came on board because 70% of buyers are women. Like I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think that was one of the reasons why it was taken like that. Yeah, so like if we're going by this reason, like to get more women to get their opinions, then we just need to talk more and just basically keep doing what we do. Like Charlene is doing Ladies Who Tech, like Vivian is organizing leadership programs. Like I'm joining like and talk like whenever chance I have like about it. And I'm always like, if anyone ever add me on WeChat and they know me, that I always support like and say yes, go for it. It's just like, so that's I think like what we can do at the moment. Like just like keep doing what we do and like it will grow. Like
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's right. I think it's important for women to support women and to encourage women to go into tech. Right now, there is also men, right? Men as allies, they are very important for this. I mean, how does a father talk to his daughter about coding, building cars, taking up coding classes, taking up science classes? It's very important. So we need all the men to support us as well. So kudos, hi to all the men out there. I see some of you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for supporting us. Now, how would you ladies, Vivian, Amy, Katya, engage with the allies? Like, how do you win over those who don't know about gender diversity to jump on board and say, hey, yeah, of course I will encourage my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my mother to go into tech? Vivian?
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry, I was yeah.
How would you encourage like people who do not know about promoting gender diversity? How would you talk with men to get them to support gender diversity?
Okay, so I think probably I'm living in a perfect world. Yeah, so because all the male around me, and even for my staff and my peers, my boss, all of them are very, very supportive, for women to grow women in the technology world. And also I have some observations I want to share with the team, maybe not really related to the question you just shared. So I've been in the industry for 30 years, 30. And every year, almost every year, I went to campus to do campus recruiting. So I see the change of the campus graduates, over the 30 years in China. So I can see that, in the recent 4 or 5 years, a lot of fantastic women engineers, super intelligent, work super hard, and super in depth on technology. So I can see, but for the previous years, a lot of women, even in technology, a lot of them either in QE organization, testing, quality engineering, or product manager, or project manager. But not a lot of them go to very deep on either architect or deep engineering or super strong technical expert. So that ratio compared with male, that I'm talking about all the true data from my experience, it's less than male. But in recent 4 or 5 years, I found a lot of very, very strong young ladies who are super strong on their area and on par or even, beat their male, peers. So I see that as a very good sign. And that is very encouraging. So basically, for all the people we work around, and for male or for female, my perspective is that I don't really care about gender. I really, really care about your potential, your capability, your result, your contribution.
Well, thank you, Vivian. That is very encouraging, and I also hope that everyone who is in talent acquisition thinks like you do. I would like to go back to this question about engaging allies, getting especially men on board to promote gender diversity. What do you think? How can we engage them, Amy?
I think first of all, like from a personal standpoint, I would just do well in what I do. So that as like a personal example to say, well, I'm a woman, I can also do well in this. And for those who are not aware of gender equality, I think if you hear something or if you see something, you should just say it. Like next time, I guess, like when I'm asked the question as a woman, why do you choose this? I will probably stand up for myself and actually speak up. I know like my own effort is actually very trivial, but if everybody speaks in the same voice, if everybody stands up whenever they have a chance, I think we'll gain like more awareness in this equality issue. It's not just about gender equality, I guess. It's also about like, say, LGBT rights and everything like that. Like if you see some people who are discriminating you because of this, just stand up for yourself and say it.
Katya, what do you think?
Because I understand the question is not about how to stand out for yourself, but actually how to engage men. And I think the main point here is actually that like not just women talk about the equality, but also men and women talking about it. And like I like what Vivian earlier mentioned, that like less we're gonna talk about it, better it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So like in my experience, like any partnerships or like whatever like talks I had with men, like or men who are around me, like they are very chill and cool, and like no one ever treated me like due to gender. So like it's hard for me to say, but in case I had to so in case I had to like arrange kind of like event or something with those men to talk about it, I think I would have complete support. It's because the community which is around me. And in case the person, for example, doesn't talk about it, or just doesn't have like interest, like, oh, why should I care? Why should I have to talk about it? In this case, most important is not to say like that, not to put the diversity against this person as well, because diversity is about acceptance like of everything. So, and everyone has their own opinion, so that's okay. But it's also, you have to like don't treat people by the gender, yes, and then maybe ask the person then like what would be more important, like a good worker and a male, or like a good work and female, or bad work and male. And then maybe like those logical questions will like tend the person to think about it, because many men, especially like, for example, in Russia, it's very like good situation. In Russia, like recently people start to talk more about it, but in general, it's not even up for a discussion topic. People don't talk about it. So to raise this topic, ask what people think first. And then usually, like in my experience, people come up with their like same conclusions like as we have, like we should care, we should encourage more women in tech, but they come up there by themselves, because that what makes allies. Like you shouldn't have to persuade someone, they have to come up with it by themselves. And then when it's actually becomes an ally, and then you can work together and build something. Yeah,
that's really good. I totally agree with you on that. All right, just we're about to wrap up, so just very quickly, let's go on a more lighthearted direction. Who is your role model? Do you have any female role models? Amy.
I have many female role models, actually. I'm very lucky to be surrounded by very powerful women, like my friends and my family, and also my professors, and also like a lot of wonderful female coworkers. But my recent female role model is Elizabeth Warren. So the candidate who just dropped out. Yeah. But I'm very, I feel very encouraged by her, and also like her opinion, her take on feminism and in general gender equality. And she also cares for those who are not, you know, not like the top 1%, like in the country. So, yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Katya? Anybody who inspires you?
Like actually, like it's keep changing like every like a couple of months, because I like to read a lot. So every month I admire different people, and like that was the question specifically about their female role model, and like I have to actually think about it, like I think that like I admire Sheryl Sandberg. I think you should know her. She's there, like she's on the board. Like she was the operating office in Facebook, and like one of their first women who actually got like on high level positions. And she talks about the diversity, and like she's basically a woman who is encouraging to talk to people, like more women to go into tech and to spread the word about diversity. But like for now, I would say that like I was literally I was really influenced by the book I read recently about Nike's founder, Kid Knight. I was like, damn it, I love that book. And like, and this guy is like very great. How he like was building and struggled through the whole way. It was crazy. So like, yeah, I'm like, I think the diversity should be, but here, like, I would rather say about the role model, even if he's female. Like, I think it's because like the Sheryl is like a great woman, but like I would like to act as a founder of a startup more like it, because he was like I don't know if for like many people here know, but yeah, like how many people knows his biography, but he was actually, he went through so much struggling to build Nike. It's insane. Literally, this guy never gave up, and this was the only one reason why he succeeded. He never gave up. And like, and this like fascinates me. Like, I haven't found like the women who had like such like, maybe like if you have some suggestions to read any biographies, I would love to. Like, so like if anyone knows, please leave in comments, I would read. But I would everyone recommend to read this book about his biography. I just read it 2 months ago.
We'll share books. I've been reading some biographies. Vivian, how about yourself? I mean, you're a role model to, I'm sure, your employees and to me as well. Who are your role models? And do you have a female role model or role models?
I don't have a female role model, but I admire Jack Ma a lot. I liked what he said. I like what he said. You know, for those people who have a strong-minded and who can be successful, they don't need encouragement from the outside. And they don't need a lot of reward or recognition from the outside. They have their inner energy to drive and motivate themselves. And they cannot they cannot only motivate themselves, but they can like an engine to motivate the people and lighting the people around them.
That's really good. Well, very, very wise words. I have just one more question before we open up to everybody else. Vivian, what is that one key takeaway for the participants today that you will give out?
I see a lot of questions, and even for some of the private questions asking about transition. So that really impressed me. You know, I see a lot of people so passionate about to transfer to technology world. You know, I think that is, I never thought about it. Yeah, actually, I was thinking, you know, technology is something, even say, why enter the technology world, I feel it's a very natural thing, but to transfer from a different industry is really hard. Yeah, I'm super impressed and encouraged by the people, you know, who have the motivation, you know, to move and interest to move to the technology world. Yeah.
Yeah, and what would you, what advice would you give to the participants, or those, especially those who want to make that move, that jump into tech?
Again, like I said, you know, move to technology is not an easy thing, but find something that you can, you know, you can leverage, can leverage with your strengths. Say one question I got is somebody is working on finance and accounting background. I think, you know, the advice I gave to her is like, you can start with statistics and data analysis. So find something, you know, there's so many areas and so many domains on technology. Find something that you can find a strength that can join with your current career or your current knowledge or current experience. And starting from there, then you can, you can go into the domain from two different perspectives. That will be your unique advantage on that area.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Amy, there is one thing you would like our participants to take away today. What is it?
Is it going to be about tech or is it going to be about equality?
Well, whatever you think, or combination of both.
Okay. I think we talked about like how to be. I want to say to everybody out there, like, you don't have to go into industry because it's like such a buzz, because you can't just be like, oh, it's popular and we need to go in there. I think everybody has their own unique to excel and do well in it and find something and persist and exist on it.
All right, thank you very much, Amy. And Katya, what would the one key takeaway for the participants here today that you would give?
I would say if you you should choose whatever you want to do and just do it. If you like tech, then just go for it. But make sure that you're interested in it, because that would be the main agent for you to go further. But it's as any other industry. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Katya. For me, I also have something that I would like to say before we go into Q&A session. Well, I think gender diversity is very important. Whatever diversity will make the world a more colorful place. I'm sure there's a lot of data out there that you can read about, so I won't put it up here. Me coming from a very different background and being a woman, being in tech, it has been quite a journey for me, but I also learned that having allies and good friends, good support really helped me along my way. And about this gender diversity, if you want to move a needle, right? If you want to make a world a better, equal place, I know it's cliche, but I just have to say it. Everybody needs to be part of it, right? Whether in families, in schools, at your workplace, government level, community level, right? In families, how do parents encourage their daughters to go into tech, to hone the skills that daughters develop, whether it's in tech or not, right? How do families encourage the next generation? And then in society, in community, how do people support each other, whether you're in tech or not? How does society encourage women to go into tech? Do we ask those questions like I have been asked before, like, oh, you're an engineer? Cannot be. Are you sure? Like, I literally had one guy that I met 20 over years ago that he was following me all around and just keep asking me that question. And what about in schools? My science teacher for sure inspired me to go into engineering. Are schools encouraging women to go into engineering? Are the teachers being encouraging, right? The teachers being non-biased, right? And then you go to work. Our employers, our talent acquisition people, are they asking the right questions? Are they hiring based on merit, or they have this unconscious bias when they see a name that is clearly a woman, right? These are the questions that we ask ourselves. And also, I would encourage, if you're in talent acquisition and HR, and if you receive resumes, right, remove the name, remove the gender, remove the date of birth before you hand out those resumes to the hiring managers. You'll be surprised. Okay. Then, of course, we also need top-down policies, right? Governments need to, I'm sure they know the numbers are very clear that diversity is good for business. How are they implementing policies, non-discriminating policies, or at least we can say motivating policies that is equal for regardless of gender. So thank you all very much for joining in. Now we would like to open the floor to questions from participants, and I would like Yao to moderate this because I'm tired of listening to my own voice.
Sure. I think we actually covered most of the questions. So I saw one from the audience, like being asked a few times, is actually about the gender pay check. So they were asking that, do we see any gender pay gap? So maybe I will give this question to Vivian and Ekaterina, as you are all leader as well as a co-founder for a company. So maybe you can answer this question. Yeah. So do you see any like, have you experienced with gender pay gap, and do you see like how to support this?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I probably want to share something maybe politically incorrect.
I like it.
So I don't see it. If I see it, it is because of the the capability equity, not the gender equity. Yeah. So
okay, capability.
And I think yeah, capability. So I think we are paid by our skills, or paid by our performance, and paid by our contributions, rather than paid by genders. But if I look into the real pay data, true, women pay is, similar position, women payment is a little bit lower than the male. But from all my experience in my career in all the companies, I see that there is some performance gap. But I can see, like I said, I shared before, the gap is close, is much closer than before. I see a lot of very, very talented young women, young ladies, and I think it will be catch up later. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's very good to hear. Also for all the ladies here today in the audience. Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Ekaterina?
So like it's not like I heard before that women in general tend to agree for less paycheck than men, and men are more competitive and like are more tend to take risks. So like maybe that's why the paycheck like differs. So like in my experience, I cannot say that I was underpaid or like overpaid. It was just like I know how much money for the same positions, like for example before like I joined as a co-founder, like my friends were doing, like if they had the similar positions, like it was never like, oh, like I'm a girl, I make like less money. No, it was just based on like what we were doing.
Yeah.
So like I personally haven't experienced in my company. Obviously, it's like it's ridiculous even to like assume
Right.
that it like something like this like would happen. But but in general in the world, women like all like it's just only 30%, like 12 to 30% of women are paid have the same paychecks as men.
Okay, so you share the same view as Vivian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think then the rest of the question has been kind of answered today during the webinar.
Yeah. So is there anyone who would like to say something or ask a question directly on this Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I think people have been answering questions during the way, and we have been adjusted. So.
Yeah. Okay. I have last question. How can anyone connect with you, Katya, Amy, Vivian? Can we find you on LinkedIn, WeChat,
Yes.
WhatsApp,
yes, LinkedIn?
Weibo?
Yeah, you can find me in LinkedIn, and can add me as friends. And also I have a WeChat. If I can share my WeChat number in the chat room.
Same for me. Also, LinkedIn, WeChat, like just by contacting Spare Leash, they can share my contact. So it's a lot of information. It's 21st century. Instagram, Facebook. Everyone is so easy to find, actually.
Yeah, that is very true. Amy?
And for me, you can find me on GitHub. My username is, I will send you my username, so you can follow me on GitHub if you're curious about what projects I'm doing. And I'll also follow you back.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I really hope that everybody has had fun. This is my first time hosting a webinar. It's a bit weird, but I kind of enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Katya, Amy, and Vivian for joining us today and answering all our questions and my questions and Yiyao's questions. Thank you again, Wagon. A little bit about Ladies Who Tech, we will be doing more offline events as soon as this whole virus thing goes away. But do follow us on WeChat, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and what else? That's about it. Oh, we have a website. So Ladies Who Tech, we have a mission to close the gender gap in STEM industries, and the Wagon is one of our partners. They also have women coding classes for women. And jointly, we also had scholarships for women who would like to join the Wagon coding classes. So I hope to see everyone very soon, and I wish you all the best. Please be OCD, do not touch anything, just be safe, try and stay indoors, and have fun. Thank you.